Generation is called to be reformers. You are a reforming generation. You're here because God has marked you. You are here because you want to be a difference maker. There's something in your DNA that can't accept the status quo, business as usual, things as they are. You will never fit in the box marked normal. Deep in your heart, you know you're called to change things. You rock the boat. You love God, but you hate religion. When you taste Him, it only makes you hungry for more. You have God cravings. You see, this is what a restoration generation looks like. You crave His presence outside the average church service. You refuse to let the world around you shape or define you. When you dream, it's about the impossible. When you see pain, you know you're called to heal it. When you face adversity, you don't fear it because you measure it against your God. You're dangerous to evil. You're dangerous to Satan because your life is not your own. To live is Christ, to die is gain. You wonder why you're so strange, so different. When others want to party, you want to pray. When they laugh, you weep. When they dance, you mourn. You will never fit in the typical societal niche because you are a reformer. You are the restoration generation. You don't live for fame. You would never lower your goal to being rich and famous. You're an Abraham, a Joshua, an Esther, a David, a Wilberforce, a Lincoln, a Martin Luther King Jr. You are the restoration generation. Bullets don't scare you. Mediocrity scares you. Let me say that again. Bullets don't scare you. Mediocrity scares the restoration generation. Indifference scares you. Losing your life doesn't scare you. Wasting it does. Losing your life does not scare the restoration generation. Wasting your life does. Because you've already died. So now you are free. You've already died. So now you're free to live. The restoration generation. Can I tell you tonight that through a generation like this, there's going to be an awakening. And I did say awakening through you, through this generation, through the restoration generation. You know, Pastor's saying what restoration means. It means to bring back what once was. When they made the dollar bill, they put "In God We Trust," because at one time this country trusted God. And that's what God is speaking to us as a generation, because we have to restore Him as God, not God emeritus, right? He's not honored because of what He once was. He's God because He's God. I don't know if y'all are getting this tonight. I don't know. There's going to be restoration of what was in every home in the good old United States of America. And I'm willing to devote, listen to me, I'm willing to devote the rest of my life. I'm willing to lay everything that I have, that I shall be, that I will be, that I want to be. I'm willing to lay it on the line tonight to see a nation restored. To bring a nation back to a fear of a holy, sovereign God. I'm willing to lay it all on the line. I devote the rest of my life to see this happen. And the question tonight, will you? Will you? God needs you. You hear me? God needs you. America needs you. The church, not this church, yes, this church, but not just this church. The church, the American church, needs this generation to rise up and begin to stir up an awakening of His presence, to stir up what once was, to restore. He's going to use you. Everybody say that. He's going to use me. Oh, everybody say it. Come on. He's going to use me. We've got to get to a point where we could care less what people think about us. We have to not care what a dead, lukewarm generation says about us, or what an apathetic Christian or a church full of apathetic Christians says about us. We have to stop. I want you, let this sink in. You've got to stop caring what people think about you. And you see, this is kind of dangerous, because when you stop caring about what people think about you, you start saying stuff that you normally wouldn't say. And some people would say, man, you crossed the line on that, so you got to be careful. Wait a minute. I think in order to start an awakening, for this to become the Restoration Generation, you're going to have to cross the line. You're going to have to cross the line of mediocrity. Can I tell you tonight that it's time to cross the line? You cannot be a reformer if you're afraid to be different. You will not be used as the Restoration Generation if you're scared to be different. If you're scared to go against the status quo. If you're scared to cross the line. Can I tell you tonight that it's time to cross the line? If you're afraid to rock the boat, then you can't be a reformer. You can't be a part of the Restoration Generation. You can't make a difference if you're not willing to be different. You cannot make a difference unless you're willing to be different. You cannot make a difference unless you're willing to be different. You can't make a difference unless you're willing to be different. You've got to be different. Different is good. Different is good. Different is great. Different is amazing. You can't make a difference unless you're willing to be different. There's a guy in the Bible I want to talk about tonight. He was willing to go against the status quo. And I hope his story grips you tonight. I have 72 points. I hope to get to one of them. This guy's name is Josiah. Everybody say Josiah. Turn your Bibles to 2 Chronicles if you can find it. Chapter 34. When you're there, say, different. 2 Chronicles 34. Scream it out. Be different. That's what I'm talking about. You ain't scared. When you're there, say different. Here we go. 2 Chronicles 34, verse 1. Josiah was 8 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 31 years. 8 years old. How does that